My name is Jim Thomas, and welcome to the Fitness Management Update. Our topic today is sales mistakes when asking questions in your gym. Now, here's, when you're working with your prospect, here's one of the first things that we see is that you simply don't ask the questions. What happens too often is we go on autopilot, and it's talk, 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 tell, and we just go on and on and on about all the facilities and services that your club has. You can't do that. That's number one. You simply don't ask. You must be asking questions. Now, the second mistake that we see is you'll ask a question and you don't get an answer. And you have to make sure you get an answer. If you have to come back and ask that same question again, you have to make sure that you're getting answers, to the questions that you're asking. Here's the third mistake that we see is you'll ask questions that are not relevant. Now, one of the things that we do in a lot of cases to help this process along is, of course, when the customer comes in, we'll have them complete like a needs analysis, a guest profile. But on the back of that, we have really what amounts to a cheat sheet for the salesperson. And it can help prompt you for any number of really relevant questions, that you can ask the customer. How long have you been thinking about this? Can you imagine where you'd be right now if you'd taken action when you did? On a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rate your current level of fitness? What do you think it's going to take to get to a 10? So, we've got some good kind of cheat sheet kind of questions on there for you too, and that's a good way to approach that in some cases. The next thing that we see is that we ask bad questions. Remember, what kind of budget do you have? Hey, are you ready to join? You're on the phone with them, or they first come in, hey, are you ready to join? Maybe that's not appropriate at that point. Now, if they've been in before, if they're a previous member, there could be some value in that. But, to that first-time visitor, to that guest member, in all likelihood, no. Now, when you're doing all this, here's the thing you have to remember, is that your attitude is critical here, okay? This must be an attitude of service. We're here to serve the customer. We're here to be a resource center. And within that, we're going to follow a certain process and we're going to follow a certain fundamental. One of the things that we want to remember here is our sales philosophy. And that sales philosophy that we teach is if you help enough people in the world get what they want, you're going to get what you want. And when you're taking your customer through, if you're curious about them, if you're interested in them, you're looking for ways to help them get the results they're looking for. If you're looking for ways to remove, potential obstacles, you're going to make this sale. The bottom line here on so much of this is not an interrogation, okay? This is very much like you're sitting with somebody at Starbucks and you're just having a conversation about how you can help. And one of the best things you can do to be able to help is to know more about the person. My name is Jim Thomas, and this has been the Fitness Management Update.